Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to walk you through how to handle unmanaged cloud resources in Terraform. And you know why this matters? Because when you have manual kickoffs infrastructure sitting alongside your automated code, you are one deployment away from a catastrophic state mismatch that can lead to production outages. We are going to move beyond the basics of defining infrastructure and look at the reality of existing unmanaged environments. If you want to see our full deep dive on Terraform fundamentals, we already have a complete course on this channel. You will find the link in the description. In this video, we will cover the dangers of unmanaged infrastructure drift, the core mechanics of state and resource mapping, the modern import block workflow, a real-world hybrid infrastructure strategy, and the top mistakes that cause state file corruption. These are the topics we are going to cover in this video, so do not skip ahead. Watch all the way through to actually understand this properly. Quick note before we dive in, this channel shares practical IT tutorials every week, so if that's useful to you, hit subscribe and join our WhatsApp community linked in the description for more resources. Specifically, that includes the mechanics of Terraform state and resource mapping, and how to use the import block to bring existing assets into code. So what is infrastructure drift really? It is the silent killer of stable production environments. It happens when someone makes a manual change in the cloud console that isn't reflected in your code. If you try to run and apply without accounting for these unmanaged resources, Terraform thinks they are extra and tries to destroy them. You end up in a situation where your code says one thing, but your actual cloud environment is doing something entirely different. What are unmanaged resources? Technically, they are resources that exist in your cloud account but have no corresponding record in your Terraform state file. Think of it like a shared document where you are using a version control template to manage half the pages, but someone else is physically writing notes in the margins with a permanent marker. You cannot just ignore them if you want your final environment to be consistent. You have to bring those manual changes into your version control system to regain full visibility. Before you start, ensure you have a Linux, macOS, or Windows environment with a functional terminal. You need Terraform version 1.5 or newer, which you can verify by typing the version command in your terminal. You must also have your cloud provider credentials configured so that Terraform can actually talk to your account. You need at least read-only access to the resources you are targeting to successfully import them. Finally, have a basic familiarity with your cloud resource names so you know what you are looking for. To be precise, that covers active cloud provider credentials configured via environment variables. So how does the import workflow actually work? First, you define an import block that points to the existing cloud identifier. Terraform then reaches out to the cloud provider, fetches the live configuration, and maps that configuration into your state file. Once it is in the state, you update your configuration files to match, creating a clean link between your code and the live resource. It effectively bridges the gap between manual work and automated control. This is how you define an import block. You specify the target resource address and the unique identifier of the manual resource in the cloud. By declaring the empty resource block, you give Terraform a place to store the configuration once it fetches it. Notice that we are using the official provider address for an Amazon S3 bucket here. You simply save this into your main configuration file to start the process. Now run the plan command. We use the generate config out flag to tell Terraform to write the discovered configuration into a new file. This is safer than overwriting your existing code. When you execute this, Terraform will reach out to the cloud provider, authenticate, and then output exactly what it found, comparing it against the resource block you defined earlier. The expected output shows that Terraform is ready to import exactly one resource. It also confirms that a new configuration file was created for you. This is exactly what you want to see. If you see to destroy instead of to import, stop immediately, as your import block configuration does not match the actual resource in the cloud. In a production environment, you often deal with IAM roles or complex networking. Here, we are importing an IAM role using its full Amazon resource name. Notice that for security resources, you must always review the generated policies after the import. Never blindly apply generated code, especially when dealing with identity and access management, because the auto-generated code might capture settings you want to restrict. After running the apply command, you should see that the resource was successfully imported into your state. This confirms that Terraform now owns the life cycle of that resource. From this moment forward, any changes made in the console will be detected as drift by your future plans, effectively ending the period of manual unmanaged changes. Let's look at a real-world scenario. A healthcare provider managing 500 patient data instances lost control of their compliance baseline due to ad hoc configuration changes. By using Terraform import blocks, their DevOps team brought all orphan security groups and buckets into version control. This reduced their security audit remediation time from 2 weeks to under 4 hours, proving that managing your state is a direct business value. What are the common mistakes? First, importing resources with conflicting tags or attributes is a major headache. Second, forgetting to run the plan command with the generate flag means you lose the ability to see the auto-generated code before it hits your state. Third, using the wrong resource address in the import block will fail the import entirely, often with confusing permission error messages. You might see this error if you try to import something that is already in your state file. This happens because someone else already added the resource to the code without telling you, or you have a duplicate import block. The fix is to remove the import block from your code and simply run a refresh or update your configuration to match the current state. To fix this, remove the import block from your main configuration file after the initial import succeeds. If you continue to see drift errors, run the plan command with the refresh only flag. This forces Terraform to requery the cloud provider for the actual state of the resource without making any changes, helping you confirm if your local state is truly in sync. When should you use this? Use this technique when you need to bring legacy infrastructure under management, or when manual changes had created significant configuration drift that you need to reconcile. Do not use this for one-off temporary testing environments where the overhead is not worth the effort, and never use it if the resource is already being managed by a different Terraform workspace, as this leads to state locking conflicts. Breaking that down, we have use when you need to bring legacy infrastructure under management. Use when manual changes have created significant configuration drift. Do not use for one-off temporary testing environments. And do not use if the resource is managed by a different Terraform workspace. Who benefits? DevOps engineers gain full visibility into the cloud account, eliminating those ghost resources that no one knows who owns. Security teams ensure compliance by locking down manual access, and team leads reduce deployment failures caused by drift. These are the specific roles that gain the most from having a clean, audited state. Always define an explicit import block to map manual cloud resources to your code. Use the generate flag during planning to capture live configurations safely. Review auto-generated code carefully to prevent unintended permission changes. Run regular refresh, only plans to catch drift before it impacts production. And finally, remove import blocks once resources are successfully ingested into your state. If you found this guide helpful, subscribe and join our WhatsApp community linked in the description for more practical IT tutorials every week. Thanks for watching. This channel is dedicated to providing knowledgeable content for IT professionals building their skills in Linux, cloud, DevOps, Python, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Subscribe to stay updated, and I will see you in the next one.